Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to Hallyujuku. It's a podcast about East Asian pop culture from a couple of cool cats who like the East Asian pop culture. I don't know. I'm Peter Rave, your man with no plan and no solid intro for any of his podcasts. Here with me, as always, is my tag team partner, my right-hand man to my left man, to my left-hand side, to my left man's side. I don't know. Brandon Cooper, aka King Kaz. How you doing, Kaz?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, we're all hanging in here. We're doing our thing. We're talking about East Asian pop culture as we always do, and of course, to start off every episode, talk about what's new, what's caught our attention since we last gathered. Kaz, what's new?
Yeah.
What's been happening?
So earlier today, I was checking out this song from Dean called Instagram. And it's just like this really smooth, sultry track. And I don't know. I like Dean's voice. I like the beat. I like kind of the flavor of it. The video's kind of plain as fuck, but I enjoyed
aesthetic.
it. I enjoyed a lot of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. It's a little moody, but it works well. I think Dean's voice works really well, and yeah, the videos is straightforward. I'll give it that. I'll give it that. It's straightforward and uncomplicated. I don't know. It's just you kind of just sit in a room and then like do video effects.
Yeah. It's. I'm trying to think. Like I like Dean, but I don't listen to Dean. If that makes sense, you know, like I see a track from Dean, I check it out. I either like it or I don't, and that's kind of as far as I go with Dean. I haven't ever stopped to listen to like a whole album from Dean or anything like that, but. And I don't know why, because I usually like a lot of what I hear from him.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Yeah, it's a different, it's a odd habit. Yeah. Also, I can't help but be kind of a little weirded out by all the video effects, considering I just watched through the Game Grumps playthrough of Doki Doki Literature Club. it's like these glitching out effects. It's like, oh shit, Monica, where's Monica? Just Monica.
Right, so my next track is from the Boys at 17. One of the boy groups. I'm starting to enjoy more and more with their song Thanks. It took me a couple listen-tos to kind of really get into the groove with this song, but it has a good groove. I really do enjoy it. I really like it.
Yeah, it works really well. Yeah, 17 are consistent, and I think they've been pretty consistent in their quality ever since kind of debuting. Yeah, and it's interesting to see them grow, and this is a very nice standout, solid like boy group song. And I think it works in a lot of different levels.
Yeah, I will say that about 17, right? For a group that is still doing the like very large amount of members, they do a really good job. Well, not always, but most of the time they do a really good job of like showcasing everyone.
Mm-hmm. Also, another shout out to another music video with starring the artist making the song in the music video in the studio, practicing in the practice room. Probably because I believe a song called Thanks probably is a kind of probably meant to be as a fan song. So it's a little bit more of like, this is the artist talking to the fans. which I
Yeah,
think
and a lot of it is like background, right? A lot of it is like them backstage, them in the studio, them in the dance practice room, them like in all these different places. Like, and it's I guess it's supposed to have this intimate feel to it. So
yeah. I don't know. Part of me still feels like Vernon looks like a baby.
that's probably the appeal. That's probably what they went
that's
for.
true. Young
See?
boy.
That's where they got you. All right. Last but not least, Infinite, ladies and gentlemen.
Infinite.
Infinite. With their song
Infinite.
"Tell Me," which just came out not too long ago. This one I don't like as much as the 17 track. Whenever I have two boy band groups, I tend to compare them when I listen to them that week.
Yeah.
And I kind of did that with these.
Yeah. Infinite. It's interesting to kind of like to listen to the song. It's interesting to see anytime a group has to like pivot or figure out what their identity is after losing a member. Now that they're without Hoya, but I think it's a good song. It's not.
It's not bad. I just like the 17 one more.
Yeah, it's hard not to
should
compare
have
them.
explained myself more.
But yeah, it's hard not to compare them, especially when you kind of like when you're in here listening to like different songs and like, or you have that 17 song, you have this Infinite song. It's hard not to compare them, especially with I think they fit into not exactly genre, but into a category. I think they can kind of exist in a similar space. The two songs, so it's hard not to compare them. I think they're both good, but yeah, the 17th song I think is a little more solid.
Yeah.
So
And there's a stylization where they're at like that like kind of Woolham Entertainment tree where they look like they're dressed for a Christmas party. Like
yes, yeah,
it looks like they're about to go to grandma's house for a fucking Christmas party.
yes. I mean, maybe it was
you
a
got me
Christmas.
another sweater, just like this one that you got me last year that I only ever wear when I see you. Now I have 5 of them to wear whenever I only see you. Okay, thank you.
You wear, that's the key. You wear the one you got last year, this year, and the one from 2 years ago goes to Goodwill. But you got to make sure you take it to the Goodwill out of town.
Yeah,
Because you never know when Nana is going to make a trip to get some bargains and she sees her sweater. Not that she'll remember it's her sweater, but she just might buy it for you again. And suddenly you get it back.
it's a vicious cycle. But no. More about this song. A very boy band video. One girl, the boys lust after, but it seems to happen all in different universes. And dancing, and I like the choreo in this too. The choreo is not bad.
Infinite doesn't usually skimp on the choreo. This was one of the constants when it comes to Infinite. Solid stuff. Always cool stuff from Infinite. All right, so my turn. I figure I'll showcase this song, even though. All right, well, let's just talk about it. Boa, the kind of the legend, at this point, what has to be 19 year career, going on like 20 years. Started super young. Now is coming back doing everything. I think this is supposed to be a pre-release track. She's actually going to have a proper album, but this is definitely an interesting choice for a pre-release track. You usually get ballads. This is a cool track, and there's a lot to like about it. if I were to say anything that detracts from it, is that it feels like there's a lot going on. Like there's a lot of ideas going on. Like there's a lot of like ideas that were thrown into the same pile. Even it doesn't seem like there's a lot of different songs, but it just feels like there's like it doesn't know exactly what direction it wants to go. I don't know if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to like. I think that it's anchored by the fact that Boa is a fantastic singer, and kind of her inflections are cool and fun, and there's a lot to like about how she chooses to sing the song, and then the dancing is awesome because Boa is a machine.
Yeah, no, Boa's been in the industry for a long time, so she's amazing at a lot of it. Like, she kind of started out as being the kind of girl with this really great voice, and then she's just leveled up more and more as she's gone. It's great.
Like she learned that the choreography for her what was that? Her last Japanese single, which I think we talked about. She learned the choreography for that in like a span of 3 hours. She was like, she could just nail it. And it's fantastic. And I think there's a lot to like about this song. It seems to lack focus. It's not completely disjointed, but I think it seems to lack focus. But I'm looking forward to seeing what the like proper main comeback entails, because you always got to pay attention when Boa releases something. Like you have to. It's just like there's just no ignoring it. Yeah, Boa. Moving on. All right, a couple cool like rock tracks now. Kind of a drifting away. Labrix is a really cool indie band out of Korea. They had a couple of songs released recently that I guess I didn't feature when we last did our episode. But I think they like released just after we recorded. But there's a couple of really cool tracks. One of them being "Island of Memory," which just has a really cool energy to it, and it's super fun, super catchy. The guitar sound is really cool. The drums. This is one of those like guitar and drum duo, similar to the kind of other bands that I've featured. But it is a fun track. It is a fun track. Like it has a cool energy. Like I said, it's like super catchy, and the video is fun, even if it's not exactly complex, but it's a fun visual. Just them playing air playing their instruments, or at least the drummers air playing their drums.
Cute.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, what do you think of Island of Memory?
It's a very my first experience of getting to know them. It's very like kind of chill rock, like the like things you always hear people talk about, but never really see a lot of. And I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed.
Yeah, and then like it continues with the other track, "My City," which still has a really cool energy to it. Different feel, but still fun and still catchy. So cool, and the video is cool. It's basically like a music video vlog of Seoul, just shots of the city, of their city, and it's cool because Seoul is a really nice place to look at in video form, and even better to look at in person. And I kind of miss it. But yeah, it's a really cool song. I'm looking forward to checking out more from Labrix.
Yeah, they seem like a very interesting group, and I like their sound, even though it's probably something I wouldn't have necessarily seeked out myself. I do like the sound, and I do like it a lot.
Yeah, so go check out Labrix. Go go check out more Korean indie music in general, but go check out Laybricks.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right. This last one, I want to introduce some Japanese into the mix. So, talk about the latest release by Scandal on their Vivo. Scandal. Of course, Scandal, to a lot of people, probably doesn't need much of an introduction. I will admit, I'm not as familiar with them, like, to the depth of probably other people, mainly because I'll admit, I haven't had much of a history with, like, say, anime or Japanese, like, entertainment as, like, other people that we know and other, you and other friends of ours. So I'm not as familiar with Scandal, but I know that they have a legacy and kind of a long storied career, doing songs for anime and things like that. But yeah, if you don't know Scandal, they're a group worth knowing. This song is just, a nice, well-made pop rock song, and it's fun and it's catchy, and they play their instruments fantastically. It's tight, it's well-made, and Scandal.
Like, that's kind of like the peak, right? Is like in like kind of Japanese indie pop, indie rock, like hard rock music, is like when you start doing themes for anime, right? Yeah. You're just like, oh yeah, like yeah, and like you've made it.
Yes, it's like
you're doing that thing.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of it's a cool thing. It's a great, like, stepping stone. It's hilarious, but that's like the thing, because of all the things to finally, I got an anime theme. There you go. The money's coming in, I guess. I don't know if there's that much money going in making anime themes, but at least your song's gonna get heard. No,
yeah. It is like such a like. It means, one, that your band is very notable, that they come to you for something like that, especially in anime, that they plan on being popular. Like, and Scandal has done a lot of popular anime opening and ending songs. So it's like one of those things. Is just like you're just well more known. You're just more widely known once you start doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go check out Platform Syndrome. And check out Scandal if you haven't. I'm gonna make sure to dive deeper into Scandal in general, because I know that they're a key band to pay attention to when it comes to Japanese rock music. At least I believe so, from what I can tell from my observations.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scandal. Great gals. But yeah, moving on. As we kick it into our headlines, talk about some topical topics. So join us on the flip side, people. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our headlines, where we talk about some topical topics, things going on in the world of East Asian pop culture and throughout, and their permeations and goings on. Let's get it started. On sports things, not Olympics, because there really hasn't been much that I've been paying attention to, other than the fact that Chloe Kim won the gold medal. So, yay. But talk about some sports. The Super Bowl happened recently. NFL Network broadcasters talked about Kris during the Super Bowl. So Kris was a topic of discussion in the NFL Network's broadcast of Sunday's Super Bowl, and more than just saying his name, one of the broadcasters mentioned that he had seen him in a movie he watched. What the fuck? More like, one of the broadcasters mentioned that he was told that he saw him in a movie.
Well, no, you could hear the read off, and then the other guy says, "I saw him in a movie," which most easily it's the most recent Triple X movie that had came out. But you hear the other guy do the read off, and it's just because they are given those things to read off. It's really, I don't understand why Asian Junkie wrote this article, to really tell you the truth. It's such a non-fuck like of an article, but
yeah. But it's funny.
It's a slow news week.
Yeah, it's slow news week. But it's interesting. It's funny to see, because the news isn't that they talked about him on TV. They were paid to talk about him on TV. But the news is that people paid the NFL Network to talk about Kris on TV, which is interesting. The fact that he's gotten to the level where he's seen as worth investing in, like he's seen as worth investing in, which is cool.
Not really, because you have to understand, right? They're already whoever his current production team is, right, is doing their job, right? They've already gotten him into a number of movies, They've already gotten him into a number of movies, and they're trying to push him forefront more and more and more and more and more into the international light, right? Yeah. This was probably on the list of things that they have spent money on, probably the cheapest fucking thing they've done so far. Yeah. Like that read off probably it cost them a lot of money. I'm not pushing that under anywhere or anything like that. I'm just saying, in the long run, this was not like this was just a checklist of the things that they are paying for to promote Kris. This makes perfect sense to me to do. Yeah. This is on a stage that you have your biggest international audience paying attention to. People who don't know shit about football watch the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. So you can have the fly-by-night, music fans that will then go and check out Kris, who will be like, oh, I like BTS, or I like, this X Asian music or whatever. I'll go check out this Kris Wu dude, Yeah. You have such a stage there. Like, this, of anything, is the check mark you should be hitting. Yeah,
which is cool. I think that the overall is just cool to see that. It's funny to see now that he's been. It's funny to think like SM could have been attached to this, but they had to fuck up. Like. They had to. They could have been, they could have been attached to him and made that money, but no, they didn't invest, and they didn't let him free into China to make that money for them. Oh well, but yeah. Awesome stuff for Kris Wu. It's good to see him succeeding. Even if it's like in dumb movies. But yeah. Moving on. YG paid debts for Lee Juno to help him avoid going to jail for sexual assault and fraud. It was recently revealed that YG paid Satagian Boys group member Juno's debts in order to help him avoid jail after being sentenced for sexual assault and fraud, mainly for the fraud part. He was talking about Agent Junkie talks about he realizes he's a groupmate, but he details a few of the charges was him kind of being untoward, molesting two women in a club allegedly. Well, not allegedly. No, he was found guilty.
Been convicted. Yeah.
Then the fraud charges stem from borrowing around $140,000 from two people and not paying them back. And none of that even takes into consideration. And he points out that the bunch in which he avoided jail time back in 2002 for rape, thanks to a settlement. Prior to helping him out, Lee Juno faced 18 months in prison. This is one of those funny things where it's like, well, not funny, but one of those things where it's it's interesting to see, especially on some websites and comment sections, people praising YG for this. Like, oh, he's sticking up for he's standing by his, his group member. And it's like, and like, it's not surprising because YG is a scumbag, that he would do this, but like, this is one of those things where it's like, it's not surprising, and I think a little bit of an insight into where his priorities and loyalties lie. I don't know. I don't have a lot of a reaction, other than wanting to call YG a scumbag again. But what are your thoughts on this, Kaz?
It's the thing people do. Like, it's really hard to comment on without knowing like a lot of details. Like, other than like his friend being in shit and he has money, so he gives his friend money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna jump on a bandwagon of like, oh, he's scum and he's scum. Like, he has money, he gave his friend money. That's really all I'm gonna add to it.
Yeah, and it's what happens. Yeah, no necessarily need for pitchforks, but it's just like, it's like it is to be expected.
Yeah.
On pretty much all levels.
The bigger things in here to me is like more, bro, you got some shit to work on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you keep having these kind of issues and then you're borrowing that amount of money from people, like, you got some deeper issues you need to fix. Like, you need to circle your wagons, get your shit together. Like, you're borrowing $140,000 from like people, like, with no way of paying them back, despite the fact that you can't pay them back, with no way of paying them back.
Like, bro, you ain't got no job.
Yeah, like work on you, boo boo. Work on you.
Yeah, he's
like, you use this blessing, as they would say, and work on you.
Yeah, he's the black sheep of the Sateji and the boys trio, which takes a lot. This is the to be the non-successful one. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this dude. All right, moving on. This is more little like interesting things. Now back to Japan. It's more interesting, like a little like progress in a sense, which is funny. Johnny and Associates to lift ban on online images. Birthday Asian Junkie points out, it's like Johnny and Associates join Modern World, lift ban on online images. Johnny and Associates has joined 2018. Well, at least in one way, the company has lifted their ban on the online use of images of their talent.
Yeah, so
if you don't know how Japanese entertainment works, that sentence probably confused the hell out of you. But yeah, they actually.
So this company is still in a very like old mindset, in a very old Japanese mindset, where they're very controlling of everything the press can and can't use about their talent. So like, it's like you can only ask the like very, very strict, like things that you hear about here, but then press is just like, fuck you. Like, no, it's very strict. You will be sued. Like, if you use things without their permission, without their consent in any way, shape, or form. So like it's a very odd thing to us in an American culture, but like, and even almost in an Asian culture at this point, this particular thing is very odd. to still have a restriction on,
Yeah.
but it's understandable to a certain degree that like you try to hold to these like Japanese culture is very hold true to things, right? So they're very odd to certain types of changes. Sometimes you see really far advances in some things, and then you see old advances in other things, which is usually the slower advances you see are like I'm trying to think of how to put it, like social structure things, right? And this is kind of a social structure thing, like, so it's hard. It's hard.
And
it's tough.
It's tough. Yeah, social structure things, a fear of piracy and things like that, and wanting to hold on to hold on to physical media, in all ways. Like they could only previously do things for newspapers and magazines, just like the Japanese media is also still obsessed with CDs and like DVDs of concerts, and it's like, it is an interesting world to observe. It's just sometimes it's a little bit frustrating because you want to get into Japanese media, and if it's, especially if like you want to get into stuff that isn't anime, like, and it's like if like the anime is only there because of the sheer power of freaking anime nerds, like, but without that like sheer force of will causing that to be able to be exported, like, it's a little frustrating sometimes, especially if you want to seek out things, want to seek out new media, want to seek out, like, want to expose yourself to like, especially music and things like that, when it's a little obtuse to try to do that. It's definitely not. It's definitely changing. Like, there's, for certain like groups and bands, a lot of them have to do it themselves. A lot of it has to be on a label by label basis. But that's, at least some people are finding the value of exporting themselves and having more than just domestic ears on their music or domestic eyes on their media. So it's cool stuff. But yeah, good for Johnny's. I mean, for all the all the quarrels that people and all the trepidation people have with Johnny's, at least they're working on this stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Some dude speeding behind our motorcycle. I'm like, all right. Anyways, moving on. Moving on. All right. BBC's Luther is getting a Korean remake from NBC. Asian Junkie adds his own editorial saying, which seems unnecessary. I don't know if it necessarily is unnecessary, or if it is necessary. Who knows? We don't know yet. BBC's Luther is getting a Korean remake, courtesy of NBC. A source from NBC confirmed on February 5th, quote, "We are going to remake the British drama BBC's Luther. We are in the middle of reviewing the production schedule," end quote. Luther is a Korean drama about psychological games, a detective, and blah, blah, blah. If you haven't seen Luther, it's interesting.
I've never finished watching Luther. I'm like 4 episodes in, and I'm continually 4 episodes in, because every time I go back, well, no, I'm like 3 episodes in, because I think it's only like 6 or 7 episodes.
Yeah, it's like something.
Total.
I think, there's like 3 episodes a season or something, because it's like a movie each episode. It's British television.
Yeah. Kind of Doctor, well, not Doctor, Sherlock-ish.
Yeah.
But because I always start over when I go back, because I'm like, I just don't want to continue where I left off. I need to ramp up into it. I've always seen this show, right, as if it was ever going to get a remake, it was going to get an American remake, and it would be hard for Americans to do this, right? Because a lot of it feels and plays in British culture, right? And and you could translate some of those things. You could translate a bit of it and stuff like that. And there's some weird shit. But if anything, I don't understand how this is going to be a Korean drama. And more than what Asian Junkie put here, I think the comment section wrote this article better, which was like, man, this is gonna get weird. There's gonna be that fucking part where Luther and the other main character realized they were childhood friends the whole time, and one of them had amnesia, or like, you know, like all this other shit that is staples in Korean dramas of this type that don't exist in other mediums, right?
Yeah.
And would make this then weird when you put those things in there. And it's going to be too colorful. I don't think they're going to be able to do dark and gritty, even though I will still say to this day, I still love Iris as a very dark and gritty show.
Yeah.
But I always fear that's undoable again.
But even that had its like Korean drama moments, like, you know, like even that, like with the whole White Day candy thing.
Yeah,
like we forget that shit. Like the whole silly like, oh, I'm gonna give you white candy for White Day, and like that whole like back and forth. Yeah. So even that, you know, wasn't immune to it. So in the end, it's going to be interesting. It either will be, there's the faint possibility that they will get the right actor, the right actress, and really tell a cool, like an interesting, or tell that story really in a really cool, interesting way. Or it could be a hilarious train wreck. And really, don't we all win?
Yeah, I guess maybe a little bit. I also feel like there's a little bit more. I mean, it's also a British series, so there's not a lot of gunplay, but there is a bit of gunplay, and guns make kind of an impact on Luther in that show a little bit. And there's a lot of like very strong things that I don't know if you do get away with, like with.
I mean, there are guns. There are guns on Korean dramas. It's just a matter of like. Here's the weirdness comes from, it's like, all right, it could happen, but then you realize, oh, it's NBC, it's a network.
Right.
It's like, it's a network television. Like, it's not cable. Like,
yeah.
And
there's a lot of sex in Luther too, dude. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know. All right, I'm gonna stop.
All right, yeah. But we'll see. You know,
yeah, we'll see.
It's a wait and see kind of a thing. Like many things are. But yeah. All right. Surprisingly enough, that brings us to the end of another episode of Hallyujuku. Kind of, it was a tight week because there was not a lot going on. Yeah. But that's a good thing. We had a nice little tight episode.
I feel like we had better stories than we did music this week.
Which is not saying a lot, but we'll see. I think we're, you know, it doesn't help that it's the Olympics now. Like that's probably taking up a lot of attention and probably making things move around. So we'll see. Yeah, we're as we go through the Olympics, keep an eye out for more stuff. But yeah, that brings us to the end of another episode. Kaz, what's going on? What's going on in your world? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
sportsoddsandends.com if you want to hear your weekly updates on if the U.S. has gold or not in the Olympics. Go check that out as we talk about those things every now and again. And just getting into the goings on around sports and all that stuff. Talking about what's happening in esports. We're never talking about the Overwatch League because it's boring as fuck. Even though I love it, I love the Overwatch League. I promise I do, but it's boring right now. But you know, that comes. It's only year one. I can say those things. But yeah, we just kind of talk about all the goings-ons, all the moving and shaking, the fact that no baseball team has signed anyone, all that kind of shit. So
yeah,
get out there, get excited.
Yeah, you guys had a nice, a fun discussion on the XFL and last episode. I can't wait for the XFL to come out and fail, and maybe at least maybe it will distract Vince McMahon away from the WWE for a little bit, you know.
Maybe
We'll see. But yeah, Sports Odds and Ends. Also, Two Dirty Black Guys. Go check that out. They had a fun. The last episode was really cool, if I say so myself as a listener. But he's at King Kaz. I'm at PD Rave. The show is at Hallyujuku. I don't know why I put up the 4 like I'm doing 4 record breakers.
It's all starting to blend in your head. It does it to me too. Don't worry. I do too many shows, and I do the intros for other shows all the time.
It's like
so it happens.
Yeah, it's all blending together. But yeah, Hallyujuku, Hallyujuku.com, Kpoppodcast.com is an easy website to share with other people. Let me push a button. Rebelli.net for this and other shows. Rebelli TV on YouTube and other places. I started to square things around, so I'm doing more things. I really endeavor to do more things this year, even though I say it. We'll see if it actually happens. Say it a lot.
Don't you know?
But keep an eye out and hold my toes to the fire, hold my feet to the fire, make me do those things. But yeah, keep an eye out. Share, like, subscribe, leave comments, reviews, do all the things. Until next time, hasta los huevos.
Give it to me straight, Doctor.
Annyeong. Fighting.
Give it to me straight, Doctor.